Good morning, I'm Roland Walker from First Advance, and this morning we're going to be chatting about doing a pawn deal. So in order to do a pawn deal, you need to own a car, and it can't be financed, it must be fully paid up. And you need to have the car in your name, and you need to have the registration papers. So now you have an asset. There are a couple of ways of getting money for that asset, but the quickest method is to use a reputable company who's NCR registered, who will be able to do a loan on your asset. And typically how that happens is you would have to go through a qualifying process in order for that company to see whether they are able to help you at all. And that will generally entail sending pictures of the vehicle by email or WhatsApp, the mileage of the vehicle and the registration and your ID of that vehicle, so that they can make sure that you are in fact the owner of that vehicle. Then they would check the value of that vehicle, and they would give you an offer, typically between 50, sometimes 60 or 70% of the value, the trade value of that vehicle. Because ultimately, if you are going to stop paying your monthly payments for the loan, they will give you a certain period of time, typically a month or two, where they will obviously send you documentation saying to please pay your arrears amounts, and then they will be forced to sell that vehicle. And when they sell that vehicle, it's not going to be something that they would like to wait on, because obviously these businesses and my business are involved in lending. We're not involved in selling of cars and trying to make money from that. We are financially driven, and our business is a financial one, not a retail car outlet. So we would find buyers that would take the vehicle as quick as possible, and yes, you aren't going to get the best price for it. And after that, once the vehicle is sold, if you, as I say, didn't pay, then we would take our capital amount that we had paid you, our loan amount, plus any arrears, if there are any costs involved in selling the vehicle, and the balance we would refund back to you. Now that's how we do it. I don't know, but I've heard there are a lot of companies that are fairly unscrupulous that will not give you any money back when you have defaulted and not paid them, and they basically take everything. So please be aware of that. So what would typically happen once they had approved you, or we had approved you, is then you would go to the viewing area or the yard where the vehicle would be kept, and you would then have a meeting, go through the vehicle. One of our service advisors, our consultants, would have a look at the vehicle, check for damage, check for all the small things that could lower the price of the vehicle, and then they would sign a contract with you where they would give a certain amount that would be agreed by yourself, and at a certain rate. Now the rates typically vary from 5% per month to 10% to 20%, I've heard. So one must make sure that you are checking exactly what you are going to pay every month, and that there are no hidden costs involved, like storage and all sorts of other things that people come up with. As I say, there are a lot of unscrupulous people who do the pawn, and one has to be careful and make sure of things. Once that was done, then you should expect your money, and we definitely pay immediately afterwards. The contract gets sent to our head office with all the documents, and the payment is immediately loaded, and you should get paid depending on what your bank is. We bank with FNB. You should have an immediate payment. So that's how it works. It's a very quick, very easy. Financing it, refinancing it through your bank is extremely onerous. It takes forever, and generally they don't do it. So this is a good option. It's a speedy option, it's a cost-effective option, and if it makes sense to you, I would recommend you do it. First Advance is always giving you the greater options. Thank you.